My name is Macklin Williams. I really appreciate everybody for coming through. This was an idea in my head, and it's really nice. I can see it come to fruition. We're here to build up the men in the community. I've been putting together I've done a walking club, but I just see that the women always come. They always show up really strong, and the men are pretty much lacking. I was like, oh, come on, we're the ones that need it. And so I put this together as a chance to see what happens when we come together and what we can build and what we can grow. Because if you look around the room, there are levels of success in any category that you want. You want to be married 30, 40 years, somebody's done it. You want to start a business, somebody's done it. You've gone through some stuff, whatever that stuff is, somebody has been through it. And so getting the chance to get around some people that be talk some of that stuff out, get it out there, like learn some things, learn from some else's mistakes. That's what we're here for. And the categories that I have, we got mentorship, we got money and business, we have marriage, family, relationship, and we have health. All those things can impact the rest of your life. When your money's right, your family's right. The biggest detractor that anybody can have is family. Because when your family ain't right, everything else just goes right downhill. So keep the family together, keep the family right, everything can grow. If your health isn't right, nothing else matters. So hey, let's get all those different aspects of your life together and get mentors along the way. Because all those other aspects, if you got a mentor, it can help you. It can help you out. It can help you, and that's what we're here for. So first off, just make sure we got a QR code for anybody who need to register. He's going to be going around. We have our panel members. So if you got a QR code on the program right there, you can scan and you can find out about the people on the panel. So first off, let's go introduce our mentorship panel right here. We got Coach Neil Hawkins, got DeQuan Phillips, got Curly Henry, and Dr. Underwood.
Hey, can we say thank you to Macklin for doing all of this? Now we can focus, all right.
I really appreciate that. So let's go and get things started. I'm going to give everybody on the panel a chance to go ahead and introduce what you got to say.
Okay, well, I'll start since you said my name first. I'm Coach Neil. I operate a company called Hawkins Athletics. I also helped and co-founded Just Kingdom Sports. It's an outdoor youth organization that supports kids in low-income areas to play sports and had an opportunity to learn about Christ through sports. I've been doing that for 4 years now. I also have a basketball academy. That's pretty new, but we've generated about 37 members in our academy twice a week to train in basketball and also share the gospel. So I'm really big on kids knowing who they are and investing in the youth. It's important to me that the identity of our kids and our youth is identified at an earlier age, because the social media and the outside noise will start to do it at an earlier age. So that's very important to me, and that's what God has called me to do. Originally, I'm from D.C. I was born and raised there. Grew up there, had family there all my life, and then we moved to Maryland shortly after. And then got married, had some kids of my own, and then we traveled down here on faith. Straight faith. No, I didn't know anybody in Georgia, didn't have any family here, but I knew God was telling me to move here. So I did that on faith, and since I've made the commitment to follow Christ and to only walk by faith, He's been blessing me tremendously. So I get to meet people like this and come on and share my story and just really impact the youth, because like I said, the younger the kids are now, the impact of others are even higher the noise of the world is even higher. So it's important to me that we educate them in every area, not just education where they're required to go, but every area of their life needs to be invested in, and that's what I'm called to do. So.
My name is Daquan Phillips from Monroe, Georgia. I go around mentoring to the youth and everybody else about addiction, gang life, correctional, being locked up in prison. I like to die in 2019, December 26, 2019. And my purpose, when God gave me the second chance, was my calling to go speak and warn the youth and warn the people about what the addiction does to you, what it does to your family, what prison does to your family, what gang life does to your family. My thing is to try to redirect which way that people need to be going. Because going down that road is only two things, dead or in jail. It's one cold and one dark. So we had to make a decision. My thing is to try to touch the youth as much as possible, try to turn their life around. Piggyback on what he said, the music, the videos, they got them trapped. Social media got them trapped. Things they see they want to do. So that's my thing, is to try to reach as far as I can reach, to speak with the youth, to speak with whoever going through the addiction. But when I like to left him on my addiction, I was addicted to ecstasy pills and cocaine, real bad. I like to left here, the doctor told me I had two choices. You either live or get it right. I was on the verge of having a stroke and a heart attack at the same time. They couldn't get my heart. My heartbeat was erratic. They couldn't get it down. Blood pressure straight high. But God gave me a change. And so my mission is to try to warn others about the concrete jungle, about the stopping blocks. The concrete jungle is the prison system. The stopping block is the addiction. The stopping block is the gang life. But that's what I'm here for today.
Well, good morning. My name is Curly Henry, and I am the director of staff operation with the Henry County Veteran Support Group. At the age of 18, I dropped out of high school in my senior year and joined the Army to get off the street. I served 22 years in the Army, 2 years in Vietnam, about 10, 11 years in Germany. I've been married twice, so there is some learning tools there for everybody. I currently live here in McDonough, and I am single, still married, second marriage, single. But I find it a joy to be able to share my life's experiences with anyone who's willing to listen. But I will tell you one thing. The most important thing I can tell you is that I'm here by the grace of God. And I can tell you that there are some things that God has done for me that no human being could do at all. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Mikhail Underwood. My story can take years. My story can take life and journeys. Made more mistakes than I've ever made. But in my mistakes came my mission. In my failure, in my flaws, came my purpose. And so I do mentoring on different scales. So we do youth mentoring. Me and my wife, she does females, I do males. But then we do young adults between 18 and 35. We do premarital, we call it coaching mentoring versus counseling, because we go out with them. So we'll take the couple out on a date and show them how to communicate on a date, not just sit there and eat, but actually talk and have conversation and get to know one another. We do marital coaching for those who are in it. We also do divorce care. Just like my fellow soldier here, I've been through divorce, but I've been through too many of them. And it wasn't until God showed me about friendship through my wife now, and how as men, we need trust. And what women was with friendship, but they're both the same thing. Just look through a different lens. And so I teach young men how to cover. I was talking to a few gentlemen earlier. I teach it like swimming. Men are thrown in the deep end and told sink or swim, while the young ladies are on the shallow end with the floaties and all the different mechanisms to teach them how to swim properly and thrive. But then that young man in the deep end got to cover the young lady who knows how to thrive. And so how do we blend those things? And so me and my wife is a blended family, so we mentor families how to blend. And one thing I've learned is everybody's in a blended family. We don't think we are. We're like, this is my first marriage. Y'all not the same person, not the same family, because that would be incest, which means you blended. And so how to do that in mentoring. I wrote a book for men called Break the Bowls, and it's about men suffering in silence. We have these invisible barriers. We have them called boundaries, obstacles, walls, limits, and scars, but we don't tell no one about. And so how do we break through those? And that's exactly what Macklin's doing here with us, is community, is brotherhood. And so I appreciate you putting this together, because this is how we strengthen one another. This is how we grow. This is how we plant and water while God gives the increase. And so this is where we are here, and I'm so glad to be on the panel with you gentlemen. It's an honor to even meet you all. But I'm open book and transparent. And I learned that what my mom could not do, a mentor had to. My mom had an 8th grade education. I have a doctorate. She was part of my motivation to get my education, but I had to find the right people to help me get there. And so that's why mentoring, as Macklin said, covers everything else. If someone can teach me how not to fall in these pitfalls, then I can thrive in my family. Then I can make sure my health is good. And I'm not sitting in high blood pressure and diabetes and all this type of stuff because I have someone teaching me. So that's why I'm here, to help support in every way. Thanks.
All right, so question for the panel. We are going through, the nice trigger word like the male loneliness epidemic and everything like that, right? Community is at an all-time low, especially after the pandemic. People are doing silos more than anything. What can we actually do to bring more people together, to build more communities where mentorship can actually happen? So what have you seen that can actually do that?
I know.
Because if you can't get people around people to mentor, what good is it?
I know one common thing that I tend to use and I always go to is what helped me in life is a sport. It's not, I don't care who you are in life, male, female, young, old, you like sports. It's something that can bring people together. And in developing Just Kingdom Sports, we realized that our communities actually have locations where we can come together and be a community. These parks that we have, they typically are empty on the weekends and throughout the week because not too many people are going out. So we developed a way to bring families out using sports as the interest or the catch to come get together in a community. Use the parents to be some of the coaches, vetting them to make sure that they had the qualities of a good coach. And then having the kids come together in groups in their age so that they can have friends. Because if you notice in our schools now, a lot of these kids shy away from just regular conversation with their peers. And it's, the community is needed as an example for us to set an environment where they can be safe, right? Where they know they come here and they already know their expectation is to see kids my age, to see a coach that cares about me, to have snacks, and then we actually get to compete. So that's an area where I feel like we can demonstrate what a community looks like. We create the community. We create the environment to be safe. Kids aren't going to share anything about what they're struggling with unless they're safe, unless they feel like you care about what they are going through. So we pray with kids. I mean, we do. We teach them about the Word of God because that's how we were able to be kept and do these things. But again, we have to show them through examples. So that's one example that I feel like we've tried and it works because And our basketball season just over the last March, April, and a little bit of May, we had over 200 kids in the park together. Not just the kids, but the dads and the moms and the aunts and the cousins coming together for a sport initially. But we also got to share with them the love of Christ. We also got to hear their problems. We also got to coach them in ways where they might want to now share things with people that they might not have the opportunity to before. So sports is a great way to get people together.
One word I keep hearing here is a great word that coaches use, the word community. Now, it's true this isn't the 50s, 60s, and 70s that I was raised in. Many of us were raised in. But community back then for me was to go down the street and get in trouble. And Miss Sally said, I'm going to tell your mama. And I better not cuss her out. Miss Sally might even whoop my behind. And then when I got home, I get another one. Okay. So community is a great thing, or village, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to refer to it to. I was number 5 out of 10 children, so mom and daddy had 3rd and 4th grade education from down in Mississippi, born in the 20s. So they didn't have time to do nothing but try to keep shoes on and keep us fed. So we were ripping up and down, running up and down the street. But those who were there in the projects looked out for us as well. What we need now, since we're not back that time, in these times, to probably help support that mentorship principle is small groups. How many, one thing I noticed after I started buying homes is that when you get home after work, nobody's outside talking. Everybody's back in the house, watching TVs or whatever. But nobody's outside talking to their neighbors. So small groups is one way of doing that, and I'm about to do that in my neighborhood. I'm going to invite some people to my house for a fellowship and a little Bible study, or whatever. Not to teach, but to get everybody there on one accord through the Word of God. But we need community. We need community, and small groups matter. Small groups help that. And at the same time, some mentorship can be going on right there. Somebody in that group may need to hear what somebody else has to say to help them along their way. Thank you.
We're going to get questions at from the audience. Anybody else got anything else to add on that one? On the panel?
Go ahead, I ain't got nothing to say on that.
So for me, I just wrote down, each one, reach one, teach one. We just got to do one at a time. Sometimes we're trying to eat a whole elephant at once. And what does that do to us as men, I know, that causes us to go into these silos, that causes us to back off, because our mentality is, if I do nothing, then I'm good. If I don't get involved, I'm good. But your involvement is what helps. And so having these conferences, having, community outreach, all those type of things, from sports to books. We can't forget education. We can't forget education. I love sports. Sports got me to where I'm at, right? But I couldn't get into that college without education. My sport didn't last. Yeah, I went to coach 17 years in high school, and I did all the good stuff and mentor plenty. But at the same time, we have a lot of knowledge that we're holding on to as men and not sharing. So you're going to die with that knowledge. So my challenge for you all is, hey, the knowledge you have, share it. No matter how big or small you think it is, someone needs it. And so we get caught up in numbers. And man, I ain't had 500 people, so I ain't sharing everything I got. All you needed was that one, because that one catch on fire, he'll catch everybody else on fire. But instead, we're looking for the mass numbers versus just who's there, who's present. And so that's my encouragement for us as men, and even our women that are here is, hey, you have these sons. Get them in front of somebody that ain't you. We're thinking that we're the only ones that can raise our kids, because as you said, it took a village.
Yeah.
Everybody beat on me.
That's right.
Everybody. Like you went down the hall and told somebody, oh, you did what? Come see me later. Like, God, damn. But look where we're at now. And that's my encouragement is it didn't kill us. We're here. We're looking at each other. It made us stronger. So how do we make each other strong? Is we support each other in those things. And so that's what I say, those small groups, communities, sports, academics, reading books. We got to get them reading. We got to get them reading, y'all. And ain't nothing like fathers reading to their sons and daughters. Thank you.
Can I say one thing to that? Let us, as black folk, stop looking at each other like we don't like them. Let's smile at each other. Say good morning, how you doing, how you feeling? When I moved to Atlanta, my wife and I thought, my wife wanted to come here. I came here for a job, to get a job increase, a pay increase. But we felt like we were in a place where black folks just didn't like each other. We got to stop that. Speak to somebody. I speak to young men. How you doing, young brother? Just to see where he comes from. If he comes back and says, fine, sir. He got something in his head. He said, sir. Yeah, I'm good. Where's his head at? Let's just food for thought. Let's smile. Let's smile at each other. Let's look at each other like we are somebody.
Because we are.
There you go. I'm good.
Jesse?
I had a difference of opinion though, because coming from DC, you talking about not smiling at people. When I came down here, I was confused how many people were smiling at me. You like to get robbed. You like to get robbed walking around where I'm from. So I don't know if it's everybody that feels that way, but I definitely felt the love coming down here to Georgia, especially I came down here, I was looking for another vehicle. I went to this friend of mine at the time told me about a Mitsubishi dealership. I went there, and the guy there, he invited me to his church, he invited me to a cookout, he invited me to an event he was doing for business. I was like, oh, okay. I felt like I knew him already, and I just met him about a car. So I think being friendly is important though. Mm-hmm. You know, people have to feel safe and comfortable about, you know, speaking to people. And that's a big thing about, you know, having a community. And then piggybacking on what you were sharing a little bit earlier is that, you know, our lives shouldn't revolve around us. You know, it should always come from a heart of helping somebody else. So we know kids that aren't, or anybody in general, if you know somebody that isn't doing well, our opportunity is to serve that person, right? It's been times when I was in the school system, I was teaching back home years ago, and I saw a kid that was struggling. You could tell he was having an issue because he was always in trouble. And sometimes that's a cry, or it's a giveaway that they're going through something. And I asked the kid, you know, time and time he would get in trouble, and I asked him, what's going on in your life, man? I know you're not like this at home. And then I asked him, where's his dad? His dad's incarcerated. He don't know who his dad is. Then I said, okay, so what about your mom? Well, my mom's always at work. She's never home. So who's at home? Me. This boy's 12 years old, at home by himself all the time because his mother has to work 2 jobs. So you expect this kid, I mean, a lot of the teachers had issues with the kid, right? It was an ongoing issue. But you expect this kid, he's 12. He's living at home almost by himself, taking care of himself, feeding himself, getting to school and back when he can. You expect him to listen to you when he don't have to listen to nobody at home. And I know he's hurting because nobody's there giving him guidance. He has to figure it out on his own. So as a mentor, we have to see certain things in people, and they're indications that something's not right. And it's most of the time their actions, whatever their action is. If they're not smiling, it's probably something wrong in their life. That's not right. And as a mentor or a person that feels like they're comfortable to speak to those things, we need to ask them, is everything all right with you? And it starts, the conversation starts there. And if they're comfortable at the time, maybe they share it, and maybe you give your feedback about it. If not, okay, well, maybe I'll come back at a later time and talk to you. I had another guy, and I don't know how much time we got.
Yeah, about 11 minutes.
Oh, okay. I know this other guy. I came to Georgia. I started working at FedEx off of Anvil Block Road in Ellenwood, and just to pass the time during the time with me trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I met this guy. His name was Joe Kill, and it was right after COVID. I mean, we moved like in the heart of COVID, so they were still operating. And I was surprised, so I started working there. I'm in the truck with him. He's training me. You know, a younger guy just like me. We're talking, and he's asking me things about like what's going on this weekend, how's your family, things like that. And I'm just sharing.
Gotta make it quick.
My bad. I'm just sharing. I had the opportunity to speak to him in a rough time because his dad had went to the hospital due to COVID, and he didn't know what to do. He didn't have any kind of background of anybody else to talk to, so he called me in a time of need, and nobody else he could call when he was going through a tough situation in his life. His dad was on the brink of dying, and they didn't know what to do for him. So I prayed with him on the phone. The next day, his dad comes out of the hospital. And he then believed in Christ because we prayed. He didn't have any idea what to do. He prayed with me on the phone. And when he gets the next day, he's like, he's out of the hospital, nothing wrong with him. Like, how is this? They just were telling us he's about to pass away. The ventilator wasn't working, all this stuff. I'm sharing that to say, you living your life, being friendly, speaking to people in a way where you want to just help them and serve them. It's going to come a time where you're going to have the opportunity to share and to speak into their life and change their life. Now he's saved. He's a Christian. He goes to church. He's living better. He's more aware of his spirituality and who he is because of an instance where we were together in a truck talking every day. So I know that was long-winded, but you're right, man. You're right. We have to serve people, man. That's what we all called to do. Get in these small groups, serve people when we know that we can help them. You know, we have to serve others.
Gonna take a little trip off the service part because we're in the men's conference talking about men and boys, right? And boys, they will follow your example more than they follow your words. And when you have somebody that's going down the wrong path, probably because they follow the wrong example and stuff like that, what have you seen about a way to stop it before it gets too far, so that they don't go that far, even if they got the bad example? Because sometimes the bad example is the person in the household. It's it's hard to say you really shouldn't follow your mama because your mama's gonna take you on a bad path. But sometimes you can see that. So when you see somebody going down the wrong path because they got the bad example, how have you seen to try and catch that before it gets too far?
I'm gonna step in on that one. Is you have to spend time. You have to invest time. Because that mother has, and I'm telling you as someone, and me and my sister were just talking about this at my son's graduation, how my mom would cuss us out, dog us out, you suck, you sorry, you this, and then at the same time come back and say, but don't let nobody talk down on you. So you growing up with that, and then somebody comes and say, hey, you know you can do this, and you look at them like, you don't live in my house. But as that person spends time starts to allow them to take down the walls that they have up. We think everything's instant because we're in this microwave generation. And so we think, I give them a word or two, they just gonna change right then and there. Hey, you know you do this, you do? Yeah. And they're looking at you, as you said, they wanna follow you, but I don't see you often. Mm-hmm. You ain't present, man. Man, you're not present, but you want presence. Like I tell fathers all the time, we want presence like mothers on Mother's Day for Father's Day, but are you present like mama is? Because you go to every sport event, and what's the first thing they say? Even if dad's in their life, what's the first thing they say? Thanks, Mom. My mom. And think about you as man, what's the first thing you wanted to do for your mom when you make it? You want to buy a house, you want to take care of her. Why? Why didn't we do that for father? Why didn't we do that for dad? Gotta be present. We got to be there. If you want to help this young man or this young woman or whoever it is in mentoring, you got to be present. And I always say this to people, it's the father that goes to the son, not the son to the father. It's the mentor that goes to the mentee, not the mentee. So I done told him my door's open. Okay, and?
It's open. I think this shit's open.
It's open, but I don't feel comfortable with you yet. But you're the mentor. So you have to make that, you have to set the atmosphere. You have to make them feel comfortable enough to be able to walk through that open door.
That's right.
Because you can say opportunity is there, but the fear of failure is still on their mind. The fear of you not being present once I put my time in with you, now you're not present. Now you got something else to do. Well, you got 5 other mentees that you now my time done got dwindled. Because we all get possessive. And so when you're spending time with that youth or that young man or that old man, because some old men need to be mentored by younger men.
Right.
Because they're stuck in their ways. And we have to be able to be taught. So that's the one thing I say we have to do is spend time. Invest time.
Yeah.
Time don't cost money. And everybody says time don't cost you money. But it can cost that person their life to change for the better. The time you invest in.
That's good.
Can I put a word of definition on that word time? Sacrifice. Sacrifice.
A lot of the youth, the young ones, the young adults want to be heard. They just want to be heard. All this calling them YNs, just drop that name. YKs, young kings. We got to build them up because they only do what they see. I'm gonna use myself as an example. I was raised right. I was raised by my mom, my grandmama, granddad. Raised me real good. Raised in the church. But I seen what my uncles and what my cousins was doing.
There you go.
The money they were making in the street, all the women they had. I thought it was the thing to have 5, 6 women.
That's what they taught us.
That's right.
That's all I seen.
Get you some.
Right.
Yeah.
Until I got older. 5, 6 women, boy, whew, this thing cost. I just left them over here. I gotta go over here. I can't do nothing over here. I gotta go over here.
Right.
It's a juggle thing. It's a juggle. Then you get pulled. You just get pulled. They want to be heard.
Yeah.
Like I said again, they see. They do what they see. As long as they see us coming to them, showing them the right way, they're gonna want to do it.
Yeah.
But you gotta also remember they got that little bug in the back called music. Go get that Draco.
Influence.
Nah, bro, you ain't gotta get the Draco, young brother.
Influence.
You can talk your way out of things.
Right.
It ain't always gotta be necessary to fight.
Right.
One thing as blacks, we keep this thing called attitude, pride.
Yeah.
As men, we got to stop that. We got to show them that this a better way of life. You can't go this way. Okay, you go that way. Like a lot of people, like my grandmother used to say, you go to jail, I went to jail, let them sit in there. That's what my granddad said. Let them sit down, but grandma come to get me. Mama come to get me.
That's right.
It's the tough love that we men show. It don't have to be so tough. We can soften that thing up a little bit to the young people. And to whoever. Young ladies. They going through things too as well. But like I said, the youth want to be heard. We just can't go, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. You can't go there and hit them in the head because you ain't gonna do it.
Right.
It's that door open right there, you say go through that exit, but I want to go through this door. Why should I go through this door? Because you told me to go through this door. They got to have a reason. You got to show them that reason.
And in that, just to piggyback, I always say 3 things you got to do. You got to be honest, you got to be transparent, and you got to be vulnerable. And that's one thing hard for us because people play on our vulnerability. And then, they call it what? You're a sucker, you this, you that. And then they ain't calling, so we'll back off because I ain't got time for that. Because I ain't going to fight someone. Well, love them. As my mom used to say, love the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, my mom beat the hell out of me. And I tell you why, people used to, and this is my going joke, people like, man, you love folks so hard, you did it. I said, yeah, I ain't got no hell in me. My mom done beat all that. I ain't got nothing to do but to love folks. They was like, you forgive these? Yeah. Sir, you get beat as many times as I did, like, and you would never known I was an A student. You would never known how much I stayed in trouble because there was not a man present. So just trying to figure it out. Let's stop our men from trying to figure it out, and we be present to help them by mentoring through it. That's all they need. And it ain't like we try to make it rocket science. Ah, man, I gotta treat them like my own child. I gotta feed them. You ain't do all that. Just be present. Go to his ball game. Sit in the stand. Pay your $6, your $10, $12, whatever it is, and yell for him. Cheer him on. Cheer her on. We was talking about it earlier in the hallway. That when that father's there and cheering it on, it sparks everybody to feel good. You know, when you hear, hey, you got it, and it ain't mama, because everybody hear mama in the stands, or auntie and all that. But when you hear dad, everybody look like, who dad was that yelling at him? Being present. Being present. Thank you.
Let me say one little thing. If we have, or you have an opportunity to mentor a young man while you're teaching him and leading him all these ways to be a good man as you grow up, teach him also how to treat the young girls.
Yeah.
Teach them how to treat the young girls, because that gets us and them in trouble, or them and the girls in trouble. Because there's a word out there that's probably still being abused and misused called "I love you." I'm through with that.
No action.
Yes.
No action.
All right, we're gonna get this one last question in and then get a question from the audience. We're talking about mentoring youth, but mentorship doesn't stop as you get older. It shouldn't. You know, that's why we have men in different ages, right? You should be able to get mentorship along the way. So as a grown man, how do you see the best way to actually find a mentor? Because like, hey, I don't want to just go to you like, hey, can you help me out with this? You know, like, hey, but I really think I can learn something from you. So how do I find you and be somebody that you want to pour into as a grown man?
Friends, right? Friends. I would say you got to build a good friend base, a good group of guys around you, because that's the best. You're going to share things with certain people you trust, and those people got to be close enough to you so you can let them in. You know, and have that trust. Especially when you're going through something as an adult, man. We all go through problems and have issues, and you want people around you that can, help you in those times. And I think about a story in the Bible with Job when he had all these things happening in his life, and his friends came around him for like a couple weeks or so. You remember the story of Job? And they just was with him. They didn't give him no advice. They didn't say anything. They just was there with him. And I think that's important that we just have those people around us already we trust. And that could be from childhood, that could be somebody we meet through relatives, but they gotta be people you trust to share the things that's important to you and that has a genuine love for you too, to not steer you in the wrong direction. And I think discernment is important, man. You gotta discern things about people, because you're not gonna tell everybody everything. Just because they're your friend. So you gotta have a good sense of knowing who people are, but still have the trust around you to help let people in, because it's not good at holding your issues, or, as an adult, to try to hold the weight of everything on you, but to definitely have a good friendship base.
And I'm gonna challenge that even more, not just a friendship base, is sometimes your mentor is not your friend. Because a mentor is trying to get you somewhere. And they're trying to show you different pitfalls and stuff you haven't had. So as a grown man, if I don't know nothing about electricity, I don't need to go talk to my friends about electricity and none of them know about electricity. And I might got a light out in the house and it ain't just changed the light bulb because every time I put a light up in it ain't coming on. Which means there's some wiring behind the scene. So I need to find someone who's in that field, which means we got to get educated. We downplay education. And so we are taught what they teach us versus us going out to get the education. So how do I go get a mentor? I go find them. I look at the success story, then I ask them what areas did they fall in and how did they get up from that. Like, we are afraid to talk about the real stuff. We cupcake everything. We sugarcoat everything. But if we're going to make a change, we're going to have to be real. And being real, I always tell people you got two types of models. You have role models and real models. Too many of us are playing role models, which means you're not being yourself, you're playing a role. But when you're a real model, then you're showing them the real authentic you. The failures and everything. We're afraid to show our failures. We were just talking out there and we're talking about Kobe and Jordan and why they were so successful. And it just hit me that both of them had their fathers in their lives. In their lives, actively. And when they failed, they was on them. They ain't let them just get away with it. Kobe had to learn so many languages.
Now that hit me. You seem like you was thinking about that whole time.
I wasn't.
He said that out.
I wasn't. No, sir. That just can't, like, when we were sitting there talking, I was like, because I remember Jordan's father being killed. So I was like, he was, but when did Jordan start to switch? When the father died. Think about if he had someone there to mentor him after his father. Like, we don't think about that because they're making so much million and all that. He wouldn't have went off into gambling so much. Like, reality, y'all. But nobody wants to be real. We just want a cupcake. And I tell people, when we decide to be real, then we're going to get real results. When you're doing a role, you're going to get the role. Like, if I'm coming to play a role and I'm acting, that ain't who I am. I'm just playing this role. But what do they see on TV? The roles. What do they see in the music? The roles. So they're following the roles versus the real, because the real, our confidence won't step up that what we have to say is good. So my challenge is to build your own confidence. Start believing in yourself. You got to pat yourself on your own back. Because you just didn't survive, you're thriving. But we're in that sink or swim mode. And sometimes we sink only to be raised up in another way. So what is that way that you can help someone else out? That's my challenge to men is you got something to say. So whatever's holding you back, whatever invisible barrier you have, you're going to have to break it. You got to break that bowl and shatter it to where it can't be put back together. Because y'all know what we do. We break something, we try to glue it together, super glue, we try to tape it, duct tape it, everything. You know about those equipment, Coach? Coach, you know about that equipment out there, you know. Why are we trying to do that? I'm trying to save some money. Why are you trying to save money? You can't take it with you. So how do we invest in others? In mentorship. How as we as men go find it? We got to get out there and search. Like, we're afraid to look. Why? Because we don't want to fail. We don't put trust in other people because we don't want them failing us. We'd rather fail on our own and say, I ain't trying, so I die not trying. I was just talking to a gentleman last night, and we were talking to him. They married 35 years. We asked him, you know, what happened in the beginning. He was like, what clicked for him? Because he was like, I didn't want to have kids because I didn't want that responsibility. And so we don't want that responsibility on us as men, but guess what? To whom much is given, much is required.
That's right.
You're the king. And the king can only be one in the kingdom. So you have to run your kingdom. And I tell people, if you don't put king out front, then you're going to be dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're either going to be dumb or you're going to be a kingdom. One of the things gonna happen. But we got to do it in brotherhood. Accountability partners, shared accountability, shared ownership. We're trying to do this thing on our own because they told us, you're a man, you gotta get out there and make it happen. Not by yourself. Thank you.
Appreciate that. We're gonna give about like 5-10 minutes of questions from the audience.
Not a question, but a comment. You mentioned something that's very important. You know, you said that there can only be one king in the kingdom. You know, it's not designed to be that way. When the pharaohs are raising their families, they raise their families as a family of kings. So they put a lot of great potential in one spot. And yes, there was somebody who was going to be a successor to the throne, but the challenge was that they raised them all as if they were kings. It's about self-worth and perspective. So when you start thinking about mentorship, I think a lot of times what ends up hindering us is that we want to mentor, or we want to get involved in people's lives the way that men were involved in our lives, or the lack thereof, right? So we were trying to fill that gap with what we didn't see because we were raised by mom, by grandma, by aunties, or big brothers. So what we go to work doing is start to try thinking about, when we're working with a young mind, we're trying to fill those gaps that we did not necessarily have. Here's what my challenge is to everyone. Change your perspective a little bit. I grew up with my son. I had my son when I was 15 years old. So imagine going to a school to check him out because he has a doctor's appointment and they're saying your brother is at the front. He is not authorized to pick you up. So when you start talking about perspective, it's really about being able to say, you know what? I'm not the only king in the kingdom. I am out there to raise a generation of kings. So everyone out there, it changes my perspective and how I approach them, how I listen to them, because I respect them as if they are a king, not as if I am there to serve them as a mentor or mentee. Mm-hmm. So it is a matter of perspective. I absolutely love what y'all saying. It all comes full circle, but I think that the answer to a lot of those questions is what we've already discussed, right? Being present, making sure that you're listening, because what Grandma used to say, you got 2 ears, 1 mouth. You should be listening twice as much as you're talking. And so when we start talking about that level of engagement, getting involved in these young kids' lives or young men's lives, right? That's really what we got to do. We just got to reset that and say, you know what? I can't step in there and be everything that somebody wasn't to me. I got to step in there and be what they need me to be right now. And sometimes that means that I just got to sit back and say, man, I'm proud of you. Because the reality is, once you're off of a sports team, when was the last time you had somebody pat you on the back and say, great job? I'm proud of you, black man. They're not used to that. It's a whole generation that after that sports team is over with, they get no more accolades because the world's going to beat them up, right? So when you start talking about being able to change your perspective, sometimes it just means what? Treating them as if they are a king, but respecting them enough to know that they don't know everything and neither do we.
Okay, appreciate that. Let everybody know, hey, question, there's going to be question for the panel. We're going to have a breakout after the Money and Business panel, and we're going to have a breakout session for the fireside chat so we can get some crosstalk going on. So we get crosstalk, that's when it's going to happen. So we got about 3-4 more minutes. Anybody got questions for the panel?
Yeah, I got a question for Mr. Daquan. So some years ago, I used to kind of mentor at-risk teams and kind of shied away from that, but God is bringing me back to that to start doing that again. What would you say as far as some of the things, because what I see on social media, I know all of us see it, robbing, breaking in the stores, doing all this crazy stuff. What would you say is one of the main things that, we can do to reach our youth again, to bring them back?
We got to go to the youth. We got to go to them. That's I'm gonna say my experience. Me myself, I go to them. I see the young people at the store, hanging out at the store. I jump out and talk to them. Of course, when I get out, what's up, Unc? When they holler at Unc, I got it. What's going on, nephew? I started talking to them, speaking to them, letting them know different things I went through. A lot of them start asking, how did you go to prison? Now I got to give them the prison story. Not leaving out what bad things that's going on in prison. Not just coming home, but the thing between the day you get in there and the day you come home. You're going to see folk get jumped on. You're going to see folk get raped. It's crazy. A lot of them say, how did you get introduced to the cocaine? I was introduced by a female. A female was the cause of everything. Even beginning of time. Even beginning of the time.
You got to pull that back.
I got introduced. Yeah, I got introduced. Sorry, ladies, but it just, you got to speak fast. You got, like you said, you can't keep sugarcoating. You got to let it be known. But I got introduced by a female, a stripper. I'm in the strip club with this group, not spending too much time with this rap group called Thug Nation. Some of you might know we had a song called Thug Life. I was in the strip club. The young lady said, she snarl, she doing her thing. I want her. I'm trying to get with her. But I see what I got to do to get with her. So she say, how you ever did this before? I said, yeah, I done did it. Lying. Once again, as a man, lying, boosting, bragging about something I don't know nothing about. So this the kicker. She said, here you go. I tried to hit. I didn't know what I'm doing. So when I tried to take it up my nose, I'm blowing it out. She said, boy, you don't know nothing about no cocaine. Give me my powder. And she snatched it from me. From that point, she showed me how to do it.
That was the serpent, just like on.
Yeah, and when she showed me,
Gotcha.
I was hooked. I was hooked for over 20-something years. Went from the cocaine to the X pills. I started drinking when I was 16. Like I said a while ago, I seen things my cousin and my uncles were doing. They were drinking gin, drinking malt liquor, so I wanted to try it. But again, you got to go to the youth. You got to see the problem when it's a problem. All the hanging up at the stove with them hoodies on, jump out and talk to them. I got a story I tell the youth when I go talk to them. Real quick. It was this little boy named Quick Feet. Quick Feet was a football player in school. School had a fundraiser going. Quick Feet loved to hang up at this store. His mama tell him every day, Quick Feet, quit going to this store. Mama just going out there and hang with my friend. But every day before he leave his house, go to the store, it's a stop sign. So this one particular day, he goes up there, he's selling fundraisers for the school, he jump out. On the block with the guys. It's a guy pull up with his wife and his kids, pull up to a gas pump. See all this. When he pull up, he see all these thugs, black men in front of the store. Only thing Quick Feet wanted to do is sell his candy. So he run up on this man. And before Quick Feet even knew it, the man on shot, pow! Then kick Quick Feet. The moral of the story is, watch your surroundings. Watch your surroundings. Don't get downplayed because what somebody see. So this boy lost his life. A football player. And a mom lost a child, dad lost a child. Because he wanted to be somewhere he has no business. That's life, that's for everybody. A lot of us done got away with a lot of things. A lot of us done got caught with a lot of things. Only you and God know that. But once again, we got to go to the youth. They want to be heard.
Appreciate the panel right here.
Yeah,